Hello there. Oh, empty. I'm Scotty. You're not. And we're talking about Nightmare on Elm Street 5. The Dream Child. The Dream Child. Freddy kind of weird. Yes. And again, much like the last one, I don't mind this one. I know a lot of people that hate it. This is the worst one. I argue that. But, I'll give it to you. It's not the best, but I don't think it's the worst. I just, I don't know. Like I said, I gravitate towards watching the 3 Dream films. If I'm gonna binge watch something, if I want to binge watch Nightmare on Elm Street, it's 3, 4, and 5 for me. I get enjoyment out of these. But that's not to say this isn't a stupid movie, because it is. Freddy Krueger is attacking Alice and her friends through her unborn baby's dreams. Yep. That's how they do it. Yeah. They got Lisa Wilcox back to play Alice. And Dan is back for about 10, 15 minutes in this movie. And you got a whole new cast. Her dad is back. Whole new cast of characters come in. Robert Englund is back as Freddy Krueger, and he is giving it his all, that's for sure. It's a boy! Hey, Alice, want to make babies? I know what you're up to. I thought I was up to Yvonne. Ooh, oh, the baby. He's got the more food. He is still giving it his all. The writing team, probably not. These are probably some of the lamest kills, although I do sort of like Mark's comic book kill because I'm a comic book guy. But I can see how some people who aren't into comics would be like, yeah, that's kind of stupid, one that is actually pretty good, and that's the best one, the MPAA. And the ladies at the MPA said, nope, 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 to every kind of kill in the movie. They were fucking prudes. Oh no, not prudes, because nudity was fine, but blood and killing, it's fake. No, 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 no. They were like Milo in Society. No, 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 no. Do that again? No, 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 no. So I already told you the story. So we start with Alice and Dan as they get busy, have sex. Do it! Yes, sort of. It's like a dream thing. Pops up. I'm Street 5, the Dream Child. And if you didn't, if you were at a friend's house and hey, let's watch a movie, and they pop this in, and you just saw the moving bodies, you'd be like, dude, are we watching porn? Because then the title does pop up, and you're like, ow. And Alice gets out of the bench, gets in the shower, and it floods. Now, going back to the first one, I don't think this is Lisa Wilcox naked. I think it's stunt boobs. I think stunt boobs and bush. We get needle bush. I think this is a stunt person, a body double, because I don't think it's her. No, this wasn't the one I was frustrated about. We'll get to that in Freddy vs. Jason. But so when the water washes up, she she ends up in the asylum, and she's on a gurney being wheeled somewhere, but they say that it's coming, and it looks like she's going to give birth, but then all of a sudden she's standing there watching the birth, as it's Amanda Krueger, now played by a different actress. Throughout the entire movie, which doesn't make any sense because the actress who played her was like 20 years older than this actress. They played her in part 3. Also, there's some parts of this whole storyline with her that don't make sense when you try to connect it to 3. Even though this is directly connected to 3. We'll get into it. But we see her give birth to Freddy, and it's a horrible looking creature. And horrible in the best way. It looks terrifying as a little Freddy creature, which I'm pretty sure that's not how he was born. I also want to point out, when they do the flashback, that's right, she's watching, she is there as Amanda Kruger when the whole sexual assault happens with all those maniacs. But there was one specific maniac that is probably Freddy's dad, because it's Robert Englund. And he's all like, and yeah, and you can say, oh, that's just Freddy. Sure. But, I don't know. And then that happens, and gives birth, and then, no, it doesn't give birth yet, because we see the assault thing happen. She's not on the gurney yet, and then she tries to run, and that's when she wakes up with Dan. He's like, you had a nightmare, you had a nightmare, you had a nightmare, and then, Dan turns into the Robert Englund maniac, and then she wakes up again. Then we have high school graduation. Yes, we see Alice and her now boyfriend Dan, and 3 other people we never met before, but somehow within a year's time that they were in high school, they became friends and started hanging together. We meet Mark, who is a comic book guy and is afraid of the sight of blood. Remember that. We meet Yvonne, how to pronounce it, who is a swimmer. Remember that. And we meet Greta, whose mom is a super bitch and wants her to be a model and not gain weight. That's not what a model puts into her body. Wait till you see what I put in my body tonight, Mom. Anyway, her, not me. I had to go gnash my teeth when a paparazzi. I'll say it now. Other than Mark, I don't like her new friends. Some people, set up for Yvonne. Yvonne could be the next final girl if Alice died in this, but she doesn't. Thank God. I remember when I first watched it, I'm like, they're gonna kill her off, right? When they show the thing in the asylum, like, they're gonna kill her off. But no, because she's pregnant, so they can't kill her off. Right? I also did have a thought that, that's how it's going to end. She's going to sacrifice herself. If she's dead, or, At one point, they even come across the idea of, if you have an abortion, you can't do this. She's like, no, I don't want to do that to my baby. Now is not the time for politics, woman. Look, I'm all for. I am for abortion, okay? I'm all for it. I'm not against it. I am for it, okay? I'm an ally. I am for it. So, okay, I'm for it. I don't get what people say, it's killing the baby. Yeah, it's not a person. It's not a full person yet. If you get an abortion after just finding out you're pregnant, you may be 6 weeks to a month pregnant. It's not formed enough for it to actually be a person. And I hate to say this, but you as a person do not have rights until you are actually born. And I know that it's not fair. That's not fair to them in there. I get it. Okay? But it's true. You can hate on me for the whole abortion talk, sure, but I'm for it. Especially when it comes to circumstances. Like sexual assault. Let's say you're sexually assaulted by a predator and you end up pregnant. You should not be forced to keep that child and have to look at that child. Right? Every day of your life. What if, you forced to do it and you give it up for adoption? Now that's on the kid. Right? The kid should have to go through that. If he never existed, he wouldn't have known the pain to begin with. Right? And it doesn't actually hurt the baby because they're non-existent at this point. It's a little fetus thing. They feel no pain. There's no pain receptors. So it's not as bad as these stupid idiots make it out to be. Okay? Anyway, back to this. I'm for it. Which is what. But here's the thing. If she got an abortion, movie would be over. Right? Or they would just say, well, he was able to jump from his dreams to your dreams when the abortion happened. So we still got a movie. They'd figure some way around it. And then even at the beginning, she's like, he can only go through my dreams. Yeah, that was before. Like, she blocked him out because of the dream master shit, or whatever that was. Yeah, so anyway, they had the graduation ceremony. So, like I said, she met these people within a year's time, and are like best friends with them now. Yeah, I don't know. She has the graduation. Her dad, it was now sober, no longer alcoholic, no longer a drunk, and he's there, and they, come on, we're gonna take pictures. Parents and brats. That's Mark's dad that says that, by the way. And I forgot he actually appears later in the film when he brings her to Mark. By the way, lives in a warehouse. And now I got flashbacks to David Copperfield. Welcome to my warehouse. He lives in a warehouse and sleeps in like one of those things where you put pallets on. Really? And then that's where he lives because we don't see any other. Anyway. So everyone wants to have a pool party at the school pool because Yvonne has the key. She's on the swim team. Even though if they graduated, she would have to turn in the key. I don't know. But Alice has to work at the diner, which I mentioned in my last review. And if she was so worried about having to work there for the rest of her life, why is she still there? I get it. You might be able to find another job that quick. Sure, fine, whatever. But yeah. On the way there, though, she gets sidetracked by a dream. Not hers, though. It is the baby's dream. We don't know that yet. And she ends up in the asylum where she becomes Amanda Kruger and gives birth to the Freddy creature. Like I said, looks pretty horrifying. And then the creature crawls into the church from the end of the last one into the Freddy clothes and becomes Freddy. It's a boy. And when Amanda Kruger tries to tell Alice how to stop, you have to find me. I'm in the tower. He shuts the door on her. Now, just what word do you think she was saying? Towel. Clearly she was saying, find me in the towel. Because that makes sense, right? The towel in the town, maybe? Or is it the tower? Well, Alice takes the whole goddamn movie to figure this out, so, let's stretch that out. You find me in the tower. What else could it be? But, yes, and then she wakes up. Well, she runs out, because it's not her dream. She doesn't wake up. She runs out, and she's at the diner. And she's 4 hours late, says the lady who's working there, who we never see before or again. So she calls Dan at the pool party and tells her that Kruger's back, I need your help. And Dan drives there with a champagne bottle, because they're supposed to celebrate, because they're going to Paris, So if you're in a horror movie and you're going to Paris, don't. Listen, Final Destination taught me that. And Final Destination 5. Don't do that. And they're also happy about you. Oh, it's a whole future. You and me. And I'm like, dead. You're dead. Or again, Terminator. You're dead, honey. You're dead. So he starts driving and falls asleep while driving. Now, I know swimming tires you out, but he was wide freaking awake, and his hair was dry as hell. He was fine. I think this is where it gets ridiculous, to the point where the movie has to force people to fall asleep so that the idea of guy who can only kill you in your dreams works. Right? He has to force them, because other than Mark and maybe Greta, it doesn't make sense. Well, we'll get to Yvonne, because that's just even more stupid. We get here the best kill of the film. because he's driving and you get Freddy showing up to get the champagne. He spits it out. Bet you're Dan. And he melts off his arm for some reason. And then jumps on the brake. He crashes through and he's back at the pool, but no one else is there. And he's like, oh whatever. Well, that's John Wick. I thought my Roku was recommending Freddy to me. I was like, wow. The algorithm on a Roku? No, it's John Wick. It's like John Wick 2, actually. It's the red one. It's John Wick 2. So anyway, he goes outside and he can't get his car, or his truck, whatever it is. So he gets this motorcycle that just so happens to have the key there and starts driving. Well, the motorcycle is, of course, Freddy, so it starts to attach into his hands and turn him into this cyborgian creature. It no longer looks like Dan, and he dies. But Dan was asleep, so he's in the truck and crashes, and just so happens to crash right outside the goddamn diner. How fucking convenient for that one, huh? I'm gonna scoot this back a little bit. How convenient that he just happens to crash in front of the diner. Alice comes running out, and I do like this part where Freddy takes control of Dan. Hey, Alice, want to make babies? We'll get more into that actor's performance, Freddy, later, but yeah, I like that. So yes, Dan's funeral and all that, and now she's worried. This is where she finds out she's actually pregnant, and she's like, the baby's dream. You know, nobody believes her, of course, except for possibly Mark. He entertains the idea at least. Everybody else is like, nah. And then Greta, the dumbest death of this movie. And no, you can say how you want. Oh, I choose the comic book one. I like that one. This is stupid. Okay, so Greta's at a dinner party for a modeling agency and her mother, and I guess she falls asleep at the dinner table for some reason, and Freddy shows up. Now, they established that Alice doesn't have to be asleep for this to happen, but everyone else does, and that's why I keep saying that they somehow fell asleep, because that's what they established. Freddy shows up as a chef, complete with cook hat, and starts shoving food from a doll, the baby, like the Jello stuff into her. She goes all flat, and then can't breathe. And then when Alice is going to get in the fridge, she pops out at her. She saw Dan too, quickly. Yeah. But to the rest of them, it looks like she's suffocating to death. Just like with Sheila, but she couldn't breathe. How the hell did Joey get in that waterbed? Oh, Jesus. Doesn't make any sense. Does not. Not at all. And I want to know what Debbie looked like after she got swooshed it. What did she look like in the real world? We don't know. We never find out. So Dan's gone. Greta is gone. And Mark is taking it hard because he was in love with Greta. Very obviously. I forgot to mention, while they're at the party, he somehow smashes one of the other guys happens to smash a beer bottle by just pushing on it or putting their hand down. Yeah, beer bottles don't do that. They're not that easy to break, people. You have to actually hit it hard. You can't just put your hand on it, trying to get up, and it breaks. No. That's not how it works. But that's there to establish that Mark doesn't like the sight of blood, and he'll faint if that happens. Yeah. So, she tries to tell everyone what's going on, and no one wants to believe her, of course. Is it here? Yeah, because Mark is with her when it happens. So, so she goes to see the doctor, and because she's concerned about the baby and starts asking about the dreams. And Yvonne is also a candy striper, I guess. And the doctor calls Dan's parents, and they want to. This is all too familiar to me. They want to have full custody of the baby. And let's say when someone tries to take your child away, it's not fun. I've had to a point where At one point, I was not allowed to see my son, and it was not my fault. It was her family's choice to do this to me, so we had to go to court. So she said, we'll go to court, and they're like, well, I believe they'll find in our favor. And we'll find out about that. I don't think that ever goes anywhere, but Mark is there. So, although I think that might be afterwards, because she goes to visit Mark, and he has these drawings or whatever, and she goes to get coffee, and he falls asleep, so she draws herself in the picture. By the way, she sees him in the drawing moving around. Like, he fell asleep and gets sucked into the drawing, and she's able to see him in the drawing. I guess you could say that she's... because the baby's dream is allowing her to do this. I don't know. His body is also gone, because he's in the drawing. But she draws a little stick figure and calls it Alice above it, and she's able to go in there. And she helps him. He doesn't die here because she cuts his hands and sees the blood and faints in a dream, which causes him to wake up. I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV, and I call bullshit. Okay? No. I don't know how that works. How you can faint and wake up from it. Anyway, this is where they have problems with Yvonne, where she doesn't believe them, and he even points out the scars. Like, is this a joke to you? You know? He did this. Kruger did this. Yeah. And then Mark falls asleep again, and we get the comic book kill, where Kruger comes after him, and he turns it to this superhero thing. We get a line I love. You scar-faced limp dick. He starts firing at him, but then he turns into Super Freddy and slashes him to little paper pieces, and Mark is dead now. So what's next? Well, Yvonne still doesn't believe her. Of course not. And she starts to realize, Amanda was trying to warn me. What do I do? She was trying to warn me about something, so they have to find her. So she goes back to the asylum, but Yvonne decides to go swimming. And then ends up... I was watching this, and I was just confused. So, it's established that Freddy can enter the dreams of other people through the dreams of Jacob. I forgot to mention that while she's in the hospital, she sees a kid named Jacob. Obviously, it's going to be her kid. It's very obvious, but yeah. And it's Whit Hertford, you know, as Walter the Duck Boy from Full House. Yes. Yes, that's how you know him. But, so somehow while swimming, Yvonne falls asleep, and because she's getting ready to dive, and when she goes to, the diving board she's on starts to turn to Freddy's hand, and she dives into the water, and it turns into some dark, dingy water from an area in the asylum. And from this point on, she's in the asylum. Yeah, she's actually physically there. As far as I'm concerned. As far as I can tell, I guess I should say. And Alice saves her. I guess this could be a dream. But she saves her and says they have to find Amanda. And she realizes that she was saying tower and not towel or town. So they have to find a tower. She goes to do that. It takes forever to do it. While Alice faces Freddy for one more battle. And is not doing very good because Jacob shows up. And Freddy tries to convince Jacob to join his side. At one point, he hides inside her, and we get this with a nice makeup shot where they're just kind of coming out. And then he tries to convince Jacob to join him, and he's like, no. But then Dan shows up. It's all right, son. Come with me. And he does this. That's not your father. He does the thing again. To do the Freddy's. Like, this actor has to do this to be Freddy. For some reason. I don't know why. But he does it. Kids. You know. Anyway. So, after a little chase, which includes the buggy, or whatever you call it, the pram, the baby bassinet thingy, stroller, the demonic stroller that is in like the posters and stuff, shows up for only this scene. And it's during this that Yvonne finally finds Amanda Kruger locked in the tower. Like, her physical body is there. She's like, thank you. Problem. So, if she was locked in the tower and couldn't do anything until being freed from the tower, how did she appear to Neil in the third one? How was she able to project herself as a ghost to Neil in the third one if she was locked in there and couldn't do anything? She's stuck in there. Also, when Yvonne finds her, it's also the younger version of Amanda Kruger, implying she had been in there since Freddy was born. So why was she about 20 or 30 years older in the third one? I think about 20. She's about 50, right? 40, 50. She was in her 50s, I think. So about 30. If this Amanda is like 25, I imagine it'd be at least 30 more years. She's like 55 or so. I don't know. But Yvonne frees her, and we never see Yvonne again till the end part. Because then Amanda shows up, and it's like, Jacob, use his power against you, because he's been feeding the souls to him. So he's like, hey, Kruger, teach me. Makeup is okay. They obviously weren't trying too much with this. He uses the power, and then the ghostified spirits of Dan, Greta, and Mark pulled the Freddy fetus creature out of Freddy's body, and she absorbs him in. Amanda absorbs him into her body, and Jacob, now a baby, gets absorbed into Alice's body, and Amanda has to run away to protect her from Freddy, who obviously is still gonna find a way to get back, but he's like behind a big old door. Yeah. And then we cut to the baby is now born. Her dad is talking baby language. Talk normal to a child. Don't talk to him like that. Seriously, when my kid was a baby, my son was a baby, I was like, hey, what's up? What are you doing? I talked that way to the dog. Oh, what you doing, Coco? I's a good boy. I's a good boy. What's doing? Give him to wag his tail. He likes that. Why's that cool? Yeah. How you do it? Baby talk to the dog, and you talk normal to the kid. That's how you do it. But yeah, and Yvonne is also there, and they're gonna walk with the baby, and then as it pans away, you see the little girls humming the Freddy song, implying Freddy could come back because Robert Shaik once again can't just let Freddy die. Yeah, and that's how it ends. And we get the Vincent Price Thriller laugh. Although that might have been, I'm like, why isn't it Freddy's laugh? Because it might have been for the song that's in the credits. That's how it starts, I guess. I don't know. It's just like, what? No, I never realized that before, but it's there. But yeah, I'll give it middle of the road. It's not bad. I don't think it's as bad as people. It's certainly stupid, but I like stupid movies. So I get fun out of it. I have fun with it. So, yeah. Well, it is. I wish they would have brought Alice back for the next one. We'll get into that. Apparently, they didn't. This wasn't much different from the last one. They didn't have much of a script, and you can tell. And they kind of kept that stereotype for the characters, like, oh, this one is on a diet because her mom's forcing her to be a model. This one likes to swim. This one's afraid of the sight of blood. That sort of thing. Which, honestly, if you were going to use that sight of blood and fainting thing, shouldn't it be the other way around where he sees the blood and faints, and then Freddy gets him that way because he fainted? Because I don't understand how fainting wakes you up. Anyway, what are your thoughts on What are your thoughts on Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.